Hello, beloved. I wanted to provide a little follow-up support from the big new transmission about the removal and dissolving of the blocking energy around the huge sort of batch processing of timelines. And so hopefully you've listened to that already. If you haven't, please do listen to it. It's very in-depth and dense and useful on many levels. So this is just to support, okay, so here we are, the very beginning of June, and a massive shift has occurred with the removal of this latest sort of splinter blockage energy, and hopefully you're starting to feel it. Hopefully you're feeling kind of the lightening and the kind of the more sort of fluid freedom and more sense of kind of space within. The feeling is like going from being like very kind of like being very heavy, like a very heavy wood into like, you know, like a balsa fir kind of wood, or like shifting your bones, shifting into like bird bones where you can fly really easily, but not in a brittle way. And so particularly with June, what I feel for us is that the most interesting place is around the balance or the harmony between the present moment, the now moment, where kind of we can kind of get into this incredible sort of fluid slipstream. And the way in which most of us are also very interested in the future from the perspective of I'm creating. I have things that I'm creating. I have things that are gestating that want to be created, and they need to be transmitted. They need to be put out into the world. And so I'm really thinking about that a lot. And I'm very in this kind of forward future thinking about that. So I'm not saying to not do that, to not have your future thinking. What I'm saying for June in particular is to be very kind of easygoing, like even like beyond relaxed. Like I'm suddenly getting like I don't know where this is coming from, but I'm getting like a Jimmy Buffett vibe about your future thinking plans. To just be like, yeah, that's going to be fun. That's cool. I'll love it when that happens. And just be in this present slipstream moment, like allow yourself to just be in the fluidity of it, because it will carry you. You can choose to just sort of stand, step, slide, sit, swim, float, whatever position feels good to you in this beautiful current that is now unencumbered. So the other image is that like what's been going on is there's been many small little streams have been running down the mountain to converge into this gorgeous river, right? So you can imagine that in the world. And we had this experience of, the many different streams are all these different lives. And as they converge into the river, which has been this recent opportunity to do this kind of batch consolidation or closure or conclusion or cleansing of those timelines as relevant to each of those timelines, and it's not necessary to have any human mental awareness of what did each of those timelines mean or need. It's just simply enough to have been focusing in the way that I've been describing, and that we've brought through some beautiful guided sessions in the founder codes, some guided journeys and visualization materials that can support this more in a more advanced way for those who want that. But to just really feel the way in which, as those rivers came together, as those streams came together to kind of come into this primary river, the emergence of this apex timeline within you, that there was, that there was like, I love that my voice gets like cranky and weird when I can't find the words. That's hilarious. Okay, no, I see it. So it's like little blockages in the streams, right? Like little bits of sort of twigs and rocks and, things got stuck, or created a stuckness for the flow of the stream. And so then the stream was kind of backing up as it was joining the river. And so then we were getting all these like little mini kind of dams and blocks. And it was creating, instead of the river flowing, it was creating this kind of stagnant pool. And we opened that yesterday, as I'm recording this, around 9 in the morning on June 2nd. We opened this approximately 22 hours ago, maybe 21. And so hopefully you're feeling that fluid movement of like, oh yeah, it's like we pulled out the dam from the top of that river and now that water is all just zooming down. And what's important about this image I'm hearing now is the way in which all the streams are contributing to that river being so singular and powerful and beautiful as it continues to stream down the mountain. And this is part of that honoring and including and integrating and consolidating of all of these different timelines. So now, as the river's going down, instead of trying to control the river, the job in June is to enjoy the ride, is to float in the river and let the river carry you and just construct a beautiful boat of leaves and hang out and float down and just do as you go down and, bubbling, beautiful, lovely river and enjoying all the company that you have in this incredible river because there's all these fish and these frogs and these incredible little dragonflies and amazing little insects and all this like moss and algae and incredible green grasses and trees that are lining the banks of the rivers and little flowers popping up all along. And sometimes you're in a sunny spot and that's amazing to be in the sun, and sometimes you're in a shady spot and that's amazing because it feels sort of like a cool relief and it's so beautiful, and the greens and the blues of the sky and the water and the beautiful plants and trees is just holding you and carrying you. And this is the slipstream of the deep sacred current of life force. And so this harmony within us is available, and the entry point for most of us is going to be in that the mind side, the mental model of, oh wait, I'm being overly controlling or grippy about the future right now, and this isn't time for that. Yes, it's absolutely time to be creating. Create your heart out. Like, go, baby, go. Particularly as June goes along, there's going to be such support for just pouring it all out, letting it all come out onto the page or the screen or the wall or the canvas or the film or the, whatever, however you create in your personal or professional capacities. All that is going to be expanding and you can feel it rising within you. So allow that for sure. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. It's just that forcing vibe of like, and then what am I going to do with it? Or, oh, I can't really create it this way because I'm going to need it to XYZ, in 3 months. Like, no, just let it flow through you into what you're creating. Let it flow through you. So I hope this is helpful. It's just a fun little add-on of support around kind of where we are right now and where to go with it. And apologies for background noise, just where I am as I'm prompted to record this. There's a little bit of road noise. So what I want you to be aware of and to understand is that with this freeing and liberating of what had begun around the kind of organizing and condensing, consolidating of the many timelines, and this in both kind of you individually and for the collective, that now that this is kind of opened, the process can continue, is what I'm trying to say. The process can continue for you individually as well as for the collective to begin to connect into and access and integrate and acclimate into your new high timeline. And so you want to really allow that to occur and understand that it may then look really different than you thought things were going to look. Now, this may not be true for everyone, so it's not a like, oh, now look for something to change. That's not the kind of the guidance here. It's just if you start to sense that the sort of as you're floating in the river and letting the current take you, that it's taking you to a place that you didn't expect, or with some new ideas or some new sense of what's going to unfold, as long as those don't feel like, oh, I don't like that, I don't want that, which would surprise me if that occurred, but as long as they feel like, oh, that's really fun, then let it happen. Let it happen. Don't fight it. Right? So this is really kind of the stickiness this summer in particular is going to occur for those who hold on to their old ideas about what it is that they want to create or how they want to create or what they want things to look like. It's that future focused based on a past vision. If the vision needs to shift in some way, and it may be a subtle, just kind of like a little clicking of like, you know, like when you're at the eye doctor and they do the little like, oh, is it this one or that one, right? You know, like it may just be a simple shift of the kind of the lens, but it may be very radical. It may be like a completely different, you know, oh, instead of Spain, we're going to Norway. You know, there's no meaning in that example, but you just so you get the sense of like it can be completely different. So you want to just kind of let that unfold, let the river carry you. And that doesn't mean, again, to be passive and to not be doing things. It means to be doing those things that are really lighting you up, that are really supporting your inner radiance, that are really feeling like, oh yeah, that feels like the correct thing. That feels like the good move. That feels right. Look for what feels correct, what feels right, where there's alignment within your own inner being. That is what should be really informing your actions and your activities as much as possible. I love you. And I hope that you're feeling the liberating, lightening, beautiful energies from yesterday's amazing work. And if you want to go deeper into the founder codes, just send me a note. We're getting ready to offer that as a standalone series of digital resources for you to access at any time. Okay. Mwah.